Turbo Training.
Quick, practical coaching videos for volunteer leaders.
I'm Anthony Taylor.
And I'm Siler Thomas, joining you as always from our beautiful home office in Billings, Montana.
Yep.
We are talking today about the least you need to know to plan a great small group. So we're going to talk more about leading, but this is the stuff you do before a small group in order to plan it well. And I'm reminded of a story. I went on a vacation with my dad when I was in college.
Okay.
And it was just the two of us, and we went to this incredible hotel resort. It's still the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in my life. And it had all the normal stuff, just beautifully manicured lawns in the pool. It was amazing, and it was on the beach and everything. But it was the little things that made an impact on me. So like when I would call, whatever it was, they would answer, they would say, "Hello, Mr. Thomas, how can I help you?" And I was like, "How do you know?" Well, it was on the screen. But that was new technology then. And I was like, this is amazing. I remember one time I couldn't find my way somewhere, and so I stopped and I said, "Do you know where I can find whatever it was?" And they were like, "Well, certainly. Here, I'll take you there myself." So they stopped whatever they were doing, and they just took me right to where I needed. Walked me there.
Yeah.
I was just super impressed by the little things that they did to make me feel at home. And that's your job as the leader of a small group. It's to be the director of hospitality for the students that God has put into your life. Henry Nouwen has this great quote where he says, "Hospitality is not to change people, but to offer them space where change can take place."
Well, that's really great. So we want to talk about what you can do, the little things you can do to set up for God to do the really big things. Siler, why don't you jump into our first idea?
So the first thing just to consider for you is that you need to ignore your phone during small group. I don't know if certainly I am very easily distracted by squirrel. Oh, I'm not sure what that was. What were we talking about? I have it here. Oh yeah, yes, phones. So put your phone on Do Not Disturb and set that example because you have very limited time. And so do whatever you have to do. Make a phone tree. Put all of your phones in phone jail, whatever it is. But just let them know, hey, we are here and present in this room for this time.
Yeah,
That's number one.
If you're going to be a great small group leader, you can take advantage of the space between the large group and the small group, right? There's that space where you're walking. It reminds me of Deuteronomy 6, like when you rise up, when you lay down, when you're walking along the road, right? Do these conversations, these God conversations. And so think about it. What is a student that you want to walk out of your large group gathering to your small group and ask them a couple questions to go a little deeper? Hey, how's that thing going with your mom? I know we talked about that. How's that going? And do that to utilize that time best served to really set the conversation up in your small group, and you'll be ready to go.
Excellent. That's number two. Number three is this: create a place that is comfortable.
Yeah.
So think about the physical environment. You don't want to have some people on large chairs and some people on the ground.
Right.
So everyone's on the same space, looking eye contact. It's welcoming. Maybe you've got some food and drinks to just kind of break the ice as well. And then it's a place that's safe, that's not going to get interrupted. Someone's not going to be listening in. Someone's not going to, walking through while you're having a personal conversation. So look at the physical space and just make sure it is really the best that you can make it to be.
I also say, don't let the time you walk in there with students be the first time that night you've walked in.
Good. Yeah.
Right? So walk in early, think about it, turn the lights on, make sure it's ready to go. I even say a prayer over the space, that the God's presence would be there for you guys to be led in your small group.
Number four?
Yeah, consider a group covenant. And so maybe you've done one of these with your group. Sometimes in the middle of the year, it's time to re-up or revisit it. But think about a group covenant. Have teenagers talk about what are the standards in our group that we're going to adhere to. Things like what's said in the group stays in the group, right? Hold on to that. Things like we're not going to talk over each other. We're going to listen to each other. One that I think you should absolutely figure out how to get in there. If they don't decide it's a good one, you go ahead and raise your hand on this one. But we're going to have Matthew 18 conversations. When we get sideways with each other or leader to student, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk it out. We're not just going to leave frustrated. And so take a conversation, move it into a covenant, and have everybody agree on that.
Excellent. And number five is this: to think about how you want to start. So just make sure you get a good start. Whether that's an icebreaker question, that's going to be highs and lows, but something that so that you've got a really great start to the night, and so that coming in there's energy and excitement, and they know that you have really thought through this. So think about how that first 5 minutes of the group is going to go.
That's important, really important.
And I've got just a bonus thing for you to consider. Lately, I've had some leaders say that they were challenged by getting conversation going beyond that first 5 minutes. And an idea that one of them had has been really useful is having journaling time at the very beginning, especially if you're coming from hearing a large group talk and then you're supposed to respond to that talk. Taking 5 or 10 minutes at the front end and passing out, it can be a journal, it can be just a sheet of paper, but letting students have some time to think about how are they responding, what are their responses to what they just heard, what they learned about.
This is gold for an introvert.
That's right. Yeah, have a little bit of quiet time, and that way you know going into the group that they've got something to say. So that it's like when you're calling somebody or, hey, what are you thinking, that they're just not like, I haven't thought about it, because you've given them time to think about it. That can lead to a really fruitful discussion.
That's great. Well, as you turn in and have a discussion with your leadership team now, things to think about. How is your phone control? What does that look like? What questions can you have in your pocket for the conversations as you walk from large group to small group? How comfortable is your space, and would you consider having a small group covenant?
So may the Lord bless you as you do his work in planning for a great small group. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks.